And here we go. We have liftoff. Propulsion continues to be normal.
R68 chamber pressure looks good.
Following up. Roger, roger, planet.
Water towers fly! Yes! Echo down to nominal.
Flight downtime FD off. Bring in FD off. Off. It's orange!
145! Oh my god!
Decollage.
I'm leaving!
Put that in the big bag, you know.
343 unfolds to go.
Indeed.
We rise together back to the moon and beyond.
The methane would be igniting in the flare, correct?
Yikes. You good? Sure. We don't need any more of these.
Welcome to another NSF live stream. You are looking at Ship 28 on Pad B, and the methane recondenser, as you can see there, is active. So, we are expecting some sort of engine testing with good old Ship 28 today. I'm Jack Beyer, your host for the stream, at least for the start, and I'm joined, as always, by our ever-competent cohort of hosts, starting with Mr. Adrian Bile. Adrian, how are you doing, buddy?
I'm always doing good if we're doing suborbital because I feel like I don't know, suborbital site is like kind of where it all began, right? And it's kind of, I don't know, I like suborbital testing, like the suborbital tank site testing. I always feel home here, so it's always good to be here.
It does feel like home. It also feels sort of weird and different because it feels like we've gotten less and less tests on these stands, and this could very well be the last one of these that we see, given that there is a static fire stand being built at the Massey outpost. So we'll have to enjoy this one extra, just in case this is the last time we see a static fire on Pad B. And I'm like trying to mentally change how I refer to these pads. Instead of saying suborbital, I'm just going to say Pad B, so forgive me if that annoys you. But yeah, I mean, if SpaceX tears these pads out and puts the second tower over here like we suspect they will, more on that in this week's Starbase update, which went live a few hours ago, so watch that if you haven't. If they do that, then this is also the orbital side now. So it'll all be orbital. Anyways, also joining us on commentary is Mr. Ryan Weber. Ryan, how are you doing, bud?
I'm doing great, Jack. How about you? You know, it'll just be the launch site then. You know, no suborbital, no orbital site, just the orbital launch site.
What do you think? Orbital Pad 1 and Orbital Pad 2, or Orbital Pad A and Orbital Pad B?
I think it's A and B, but I don't know what's the overall launch site name, like launch complex. Like, I want an actual pad number or launch site number from SpaceX. That'd be kind of cool. They haven't given us
Slick
it at all.
Slick 69.
Slick 69.
We timed this so perfectly, guys. Look at on the right side there. That's the lock site now also being active, while the methane recondenser on the left is also being active. Both sides of the tank farm are being spooling up as we go live here. This is
nice.
I'm very happy right now.
Don't say it out loud. They'll hear you and they'll encounter some kind of hold, and we'll sit here watching venting tanks for 8 hours. Just like the old days.
Sometimes I wonder if there's some person at SpaceX who listens to the stream and oh, they thought they timed this correctly. Valve issue.
Right. Also, in the background, we have Jay Keegan operating the stream, so thank you, Jay, for doing that as well. Making things go. And as always, we are doing a Q&A sort of thing with our stream, so if you have any questions, feel free to @NASASpaceflight, and your questions will pop up in some software that we have running in the background. LSR in our back channel says, Slick 1 and Slick 2, Starbase launch site. I guess that would be It would have to be Starbase Launch Complex. Anyways,
I'm not a fan of that.
yeah. Anyways, let's just give folks a bit of an overview of what we're sort of. Oop. Yeah, that lock side is really spooling up. Let's give folks a bit of an overview of what is possible for us to see today. Adrian, take it away.
Yeah, absolutely. So we have a situation where we have Ship 28, the currently designated prototype for the third Starship Flight Test, on suborbital stand B and undergoing obvious some testing here. You can see the methane side spooling up, you can see the lock side spooling up. That leaves basically, in theory, 3 tests possible, which are a pre-burner test, a static fire test, or a spin prime test. However, so far, residents have not received an overpressure notice today, which means a static fire is kind of ruled out. So we are most likely, based on the fact that there's also been some engine work ongoing with Ship 28, we are most likely looking at a verification spin prime test here today. However, you never know how SpaceX tries to surprise us, but that's the overall playing field, probably in the range of a spin prime. And I just want to point out this here, since we are on the shot right now, you are looking mostly on your left side here right now, where you can see the suborbital tank farm. The orbital tank farm in the middle here is also active right now, as they perform some testing here before clearing the suborbital pads. However, that is not related to what's going on here. That's more like the effects of that testing that are still visible. However, it's not related to any testing going on right now. We also see the I think the pad vent going on right now on the OLM. So that's just happening a bit here as they also test that. But the main actor for today will probably be Ship 28. But it seems like they're using this closure also to perform some testing on the orbital launch pad.
Interesting. I wonder if they're running some kind of test that also involves the orbital pad for whatever reason. Like they're pretending there's a booster over there for some of the systems. I don't know.
I like saying they're going to static fire the invisible booster.
Yeah, there you go. Nice. All right, well, let's just jump right into it and answer some questions. Phil Reed is asking, could you stick a shuttle? Haha, we mentioned shuttle. Chris Bergen will be happy. Could you stick a shuttle on top of a super heavy booster and get it to orbit? Theoretically, obviously. How much does the ship weigh fully fueled? It's like many tons, right, Ryan?
1,300 tons, give or take.
Gosh, that's insane.
In theory,
it looks like
a super heavy could lift, I guess, a space shuttle orbiter. Because that's 110 tons of launch mass, apparently. So that should work.
Nice. Archie Rush is asking us, I don't know, I know they won't do it, but should have SpaceX launched a Starship from Pad B and caught it with the chopsticks. That would have been a pretty cool test to see if they did do it, which none of us thinks they're going to do it, but that would be a really sweet test if they did. What do you think, Ryan? Should they have done that?
Should they have done that? No, I don't think they should have done that. I still don't think they should. I don't think they're anywhere near ready to do something along those lines. Would it look cool? Yeah. Would the pad survive or the tank farm be there after that? Well, I mean, we wouldn't know unless they tried, so.
I feel like there's a good reason why they are first doing soft splashdowns with these vehicles to learn about them more. And I feel like that's also the reason why they didn't do this test. Because there's at least a decent chance that a ship would just take out the whole launch tower while attempting this. So, and that sets you back, like, what, a year? So it's a very high-risk test.
The tower is, like, pretty darn robust, though. I feel like you could nail the tower with a ship. And yeah, I mean, there would be some damage, mostly probably from whatever deflagration occurs and, fire and whatnot. But I don't think the tower would like tip over or
No,
anything or really sustain any serious structural damage.
the main columns would probably be fine because they're filled with or steel filled with concrete, but like all the connectors and everything else, the support trusses, I don't know about those.
Yeah, I feel like it's one of these situations where you like have a I don't know, a crash with your car that doesn't look too bad initially, and then like the frame is dented. You know what I mean? Like there's always potential that while it doesn't take it out as a whole, it might structurally impact it in a way, or like functionally impact it in a way where it still takes some time to repair. However, yes, totally agree here that it wouldn't take out the tower in a way that like the tower tips over. It would probably at least run it out of commission for some heavy maintenance.
Steve McCravey is asking, is it too soon to start asking if the FTS is armed yet? Winking smiley face.
So,
Adrian, go ahead.
Yeah, because I had the pleasure to exactly write about this topic. It's there. So, it's not armed, it's not installed on the vehicles yet, but there's this bunker next to the orbital launch mount. Where they now store some FTS charge. We saw some FTS delivery going to that. However, yes, it's too early to ask if the FTS is armed. It's not even on the vehicles yet. But it's in Starbase. That's a good thing, right? Like having an FTS in Starbase, that at least means they're hoping at some point they might use it.
Yeah, in our back channel, Alex says, yes, it's early. That is the answer. But it's a fair question. We are in the fun limbo state ahead of Flight 3, where it feels like it could be extremely soon, and also it feels like it's not anywhere close. I don't know. It happens every time with the Starship launch, where we get to a point where most of the boxes are starting to get ticked, but there's still some critical things left to be done. So that is sort of where we're at. And speaking of things to be done, I mean, Ryan, you want to give us a little bit of a rundown of where we're at in the state of flow ahead of Flight 3 for folks that are wondering? Because I'm sure a lot of people are wondering what the deal is with Flight 3.
So yeah, it was at this rate, a week and a half ago or so, 2 weeks ago, even at this, a week and a half ago. SpaceX had they had their 2 wet dress rehearsals, aborted wet dress rehearsals, and then they destacked after that. They destacked the ship, put it on Pad B, and then they sent Booster 10 back to the Mega Bay. Now it's unclear why it happened. The fact that it went back to the bay and they placed it on a stand, they could have intended to do that to begin with. They might not have. We don't really know, obviously. But kind of where we're at is Ship 28 looks like it's going to complete a verification test, possibly with these engines, since they did some engine work earlier on. And then we're kind of waiting on some stuff to be done with the OLM and them to roll Booster 10 back out. Now, one thing we have noticed is we did see them working on the chopsticks, and we know they lifted some of an OLM alignment rig back in the OLM. So it looks like they were having some issues with stacking because they moved the ship stacking pins closer towards the tower, and they did some work on the stabilizers as well. So we're waiting kind of for all that to be finished and whatever other upgrades need to be done. They'll roll it out, they'll stack it, and they'll probably try for another wet dress rehearsal. When that's going to be, your guess is as good as ours. Could be 2 weeks away, could be 4 weeks away for all we know.
A good summary. Thank you, Ryan. And thank you to RC Horseman for gifting 5 Red Team memberships. Thank you, RC Horseman. We always see your name pop up. It's so appreciated. And Coco Cats. also gifting a Red Team membership. Thank you, both of you. Make sure if you do get a gifted membership, you thank the person that gifted it to you. Also, if you want a gifted membership, I believe that's a setting that you have to turn on in YouTube itself. Like it's like a, what is it, Adrian? Accept gifts or something like that.
I think it's but it should be default on. I think,
Okay.
but I'm not sure.
Adrian, could you read this next super chat? It's
No,
to you. It's to you.
a squirrel super chats $10 with "Hello, Adrian."
Thank you, Squirrel.
Thank you.
Adrian. Blushy Boy gifting a Red Team membership. Moldy Space. Love you, Moldy. Gifting a membership. Sephora Serpentis Russ gifting 5 Red Team memberships, and Mary Old Elf gifting 1. Y'all are the best. Thank you so much. Membership program is super cool. In fact, the member of Multiview is live right now. Is it not, Adrian?
Yes, it is. It's showing all the angles we have for this, including like basically everything Jay has available here to bring you these views.
Nice. So if you can't get enough of Starbase views, if Starbase Live and this stream are not enough for you and you want to see all of the cameras, you can be looking at that with the members multi-view if you're a member. So, and Kevin in our back channel is saying the ability to accept gifts on YouTube is not on by default. So if you're like, man, I never get a gift, make sure you have that setting ticked. And yeah, if you want the members multi-view and all the other cool perks, become a member. Let's see. Carson Phillips. Carson Phillips? Hey, Carson. Is asking, are we getting a wet dress rehearsal on the orbital pad? I don't know I would call it a wet dress rehearsal without a vehicle there. But, yeah, looks like Adrian said a few minutes ago, SpaceX clearly using the road closure as an opportunity to test more things than just Ship 28.
Yeah, but to add to this, that's the thing Ryan and I talked about a bit, and also Alex before this went live. The situation is also that they for sure have not installed everything that was delivered the last few weeks. Like especially these new vaporizers. Like there's no way that they are already installed. So there's always the question of what will they install before this. I think the belief, Ryan, correct me if I'm wrong, here, is that they have maybe installed some tanks already, but it's certainly interesting that they're already back into testing of the OLM while not everything is hooked up yet.
They've installed, I think, at least 2. It's hard. I'd have to go back and look. I know at least 1 vertical one's been installed. And the thing, we don't know if this is part of the orbital tank farm pressurization system or if this is extra water for the detonation suppression system, because there's 2 things they use the water for at the for the OTF, the orbital tank farm. The water deluge is separate from all that. There's not a connection between them that is separate. So it's unclear what those tanks will be used for. They're not cryo tanks, but they're tried just for water. Just have to see if they install them all or what they're used for. So I don't know what they'd be testing right now, to be honest.
A lot of good questions coming in. Muhammad Newman is asking, will there be any difference in conducting static fire with the flaps open or closed? Well, first off, we're not expecting a static fire today. I mean, never say never, but there is no overpressure notice for the village, so not expecting a static fire, although there has been like 1 or 2 times where there has been a static fire without an overpressure notice. So like I said, never say never, but not expecting one of those. Also, the crane is like right there still. So
yeah, if they static fire it right now, I feel like that crane would have a very bad time.
Wow,
Yeah, too close.
The orbital launch mount's really getting venti, huh?
Oh yeah. They're really performing some active testing with this mount.
So, in summary, some sort of engine testing, probably not a static fire, probably a spin prime or pre-burner. That's what we are expecting, and it makes sense given the Raptor shenanigans that we saw. Oh, look, the tower vent is going. Yeah.
Yeah. They are
Testing everything.
they are using this road closure to do everything that they can, you know.
That's fascinating. You love to see it.
Mhm.
More
Also-
data
also
points
kinda-
for Adrian's spreadsheet. Go ahead, Adrian.
I think it also kind of gives us a very good understanding that there is also something wrong with, like, there's of course this big question right now. What is the reason for the delay, right? Is it the stage 0? Is it stage 1? Is it stage 2? And I still think it's like, based on everything we see, it's a combination of everything. Like, we see stage 0 right now being very actively tested here. We see stage 2 being tested, and stage 1 is being worked on in the Mega Bay. So it's like, can you blame one component here, or should you say maybe they just saw some to-dos on basically everything?
Yeah, I think the wet dress, any issues they had with the wet dress, I think it was a combination of everything altogether. I mean, with the fact that they're testing to the components and working on the other vehicle, as you said, Adrian. It has to be a combination of all three, not just one singular thing.
Yep.
Let's see here. Westy the Third. What's up, Westy? Another one of those common names. I love seeing all the regulars. Westy the Third is asking, do you guys think we will get to a point anytime soon where there will be no need for spin primes anymore?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. That's
Wow.
the short
Okay.
answer. I think so. At some point, they have already started to significantly reduce the amount of testing they do in these vehicles, right? They will probably arrive at a point where they will start to skip certain tests. They already do less testing. Looking at Falcon, we now see a situation where in Falcon they sometimes, or most of the times, even skip a static fire test. And as Alex says, B10 did not do a spin prime out of its static fire. So we kind of, like, I feel like it's always of a how confident are you that this thing doesn't blow up question. And if the engineers takes very confident, they are skipping to the next step. Because if you're feeling confident that the test will not return any result, like anything that you learn or any verification, then you shouldn't do a test, right? If you're confident, you can go to a static fire while do a spin prime. At some point, if you feel confident that these engines work for a launch, why do a static fire? That's where they are right now with Falcon. So, yes, at some point, yeah, they will. They start to do this with spin prime slowly but surely. Of course, this right now is maybe a bit of a special situation because they performed some maybe unexpected work on this vehicle. That is then one of these situations where you're like, okay, let's take our time to verify this. So, this is where we are.
I'll even give a vehicle. Ship 29 will not do one. So, Booster 9 had a lot of its engines installed through the transport stand. It had all of them to begin with because the work stands weren't there yet. Booster 10, every single one of its engines and all that shielding was installed using the purpose-built work stand, which makes it a lot easier, a lot safer, and a lot more accurate to install everything. Now, Ship 28 did use a stand. However, it was still using like scissor lifts and stuff along those lines. Ship 29 was using the purpose-built ship stand inside Mega Bay 2. Ship 29, by the way, is now in the high bay. They just to say they took it off to install work platforms, so there's not really anything wrong with it. But my guess is that it'll stop. They'll stop with this vehicle right here. Because I think using the purpose-built platforms makes it more accurate and makes them more confident in the connections that they can just go straight into a static fire, like with Falcon 9. So I think this could be one of the last spin primes we see.
I like the theory. I sign up and subscribe to this theory.
Your ideas are interesting to me, and I would like to subscribe to your newsletter.
Cool.
Yes.
let's see. Admiral Mrath is asking, did it seem like the lift points were moved to where they would be on the shorter arms? So, as a recap, there's a set of chopstick arms in Florida that are shorter, that were meant for... wait, are the shorter chopsticks on the tower in Florida?
Yes.
So... do we think that this change is reflecting a similar location of the lifting pins, or?
So the shorter arms. So if when you going back to all the lifts and everything with the vehicle, the vehicle lift points and the arms basically line up to like dead center on the arm track, and the shorter arms basically has that point right at the end of the arms. So they kind of cut the arms in half in a sense. At least the track part of it cut in half. So what they did here is it's not in relation to the stubby arms. It's what they did here is in relation to the fact that they were having issues stacking the vehicle. So back, if we all remember the first flight and the damage to the launch pad, there's a chance, it's always hard to tell, there's a chance that the OLM moved. Okay, the entire launch mount, the entire launch ring, which could also be a symptom as to why they stacked the last vehicle a ton. They might have had alignment issues. Now, it looks like they had alignment issues when they tried to stack 28 and 10 before. And at the time, you might think, oh, it's vehicle side. It might actually have been GSE side. The hold down arms and clamps might have been slightly off, and the arms might have been slightly off. So SpaceX is going and adjusting everything so that stacking is easier, because the OLM might have had issues because of 2 launches. So that's probably why those moved, but of course we don't know. That'd be my guess as to why, but they're not related to the stubby arms. So,
Alrighty. Daxed Official is asking, have we seen some Starlink V2s for Ship 28, even mock-ups? It would be cool to have onboard views in orbit, seeing those 7-meter wide plates flying away. Well, there were some V2 Starlinks at Starbase at one point. I don't know if they're still there. They were in a building we call the Starlink building. That building has been repurposed for some sort of fabrication or machine shop type equipment. So, unclear if those Starlinks were moved somewhere else, or somewhere else at Starbase, or removed from Starbase entirely. But either way, those V2 sats were, I mean, they were in Starbase for quite some time. It would not surprise me if they were basically functionally obsolete at this point and end up never flying. The ones that we've seen, anyways. I mean, for sure, SpaceX has some actual Starlink V2s that will be launching on Starship, but the ones we've seen sitting in Starbase forever and are unclear where they are now, I don't think those will ever fly. But who knows? Certainly not on Ship 28.
Conquer.
Let's see. Oh, geez. The orbital tank farm's really going ham.
Yeah, absolutely. It's they are really putting the equipment through everything here. It seems like this is close to where we would call the OLM vent. Like, it's not yet waterfall mode, but it's close to that, based on the higher wind load today. So yeah, look at the whole lock side here. That's they're really going through everything here today, verifying the functionality of systems. So interesting to see that they are kind of doing both here, and of course that helps also also helps them to reduce pad downtime, I guess, because this way they only have to schedule one road closure to test 2 components. That's good. We like that.
Yeah, I wonder if this is 2 separate operations happening, or if this is some sort of simulated combined test where, they're treating the ship as if it's on top of a booster, and they're treating the launch pad as if there's a ship and a booster on the pad. And they're sort of
Can
like,
I devil's advocate?
Go ahead.
I have a big devil's advocate. I do not think the suborbital tank farm can even supply the flow rate needed for orbital launch countdown.
No, I don't think it can.
So that would be a problem doing this. Like I still think they could be right about some lineup there, but I like a full simulated countdown wouldn't work with the suborbital tank farm. It's too slow.
Yeah, I don't think they would do like a full 100% facsimile, but I wonder if we'll see ship do a spin prime, and then I don't know, over at the suborbital or over at the orbital side, like who knows? Maybe there's a igniter test on the OLM or something. I doubt it, but you never know. It's interesting to see both sides of the launch site spooling up this morning.
Be kind of hard to do an igniter test when there are no igniters on the OLM.
Whatever the system you want to call it starts up the outer 20 engines.
Yeah, the spin up helium spin up system they have in the booster QDs. Yeah,
which is cool because it forms this vortex, right? Like you can see this.
Yeah.
This center vortex going out. It's always cool. Like I want to see that. Can we see that? Can I request it? Where's the inbox?
Yeah, just email. Button. Yeah, email test requests at spacex.com.
I'm 100% sure that goes to a burner email.
It goes directly to Elon's phone.
And he's like, "Oh, good idea. Let's do that."
Daniel Hogman, thank you for gifting 5 Red Team memberships. Really can't state enough how much we appreciate everyone gifting the memberships and becoming members, and all the regulars coming out and gifting the memberships, like Daniel, whose name we see all the time. The membership program is so important to what we do. It is the absolute bedrock upon which everything else that we do is built atop. So thank you so much to all our members. Again, we have the members multi-view active for today's stream. So if you want to see literally all of the views that are possible to see, you can use the old members multi-view. The other thing about the members multi-view too is it does not have our commentary. So like if you hate us but you like the views, members multi-view.
That's an interesting sales plug.
Yeah, that's a great.
I mean, I don't know. I'm sure I annoy some people. Everyone has different tastes. So if you don't like the sound of my voice, hey, members multi-view. Ninja Decimator, thank you for gifting 1 Red Team membership. Skull Kid Ray also gifting a Red Team membership. Dean Brillhart gifting a Red Team membership as well. Thank you so much, y'all. Mark grabbing something from the old store at shop.nasaspaceflight.com. Oh, they got the orange shirt. Nice. Gotta love it. The new patch design, I've said it before, I'll say it again. It is amazing. In fact, I think there's a patch sitting in my mailbox right now, which I should have gone to get before this stream, but I'll just have to be patient.
I have all 3 with me right now.
Nice. Much like Pokemon, it's important that you catch them all.
Indeed. And I gotta fill up the gauntlet, but I don't know what I do once I fill the whole gauntlet. Get another gauntlet then?
Yes.
Okay.
Duh. If that was Methane gifting 5 Red Team memberships, thank you for that. And William Weaver gifting 10 Red Team memberships. You guys are being awesome today. Thank you so much. Bullet Hole Shooter. How do you shoot a bullet hole? You shoot a bullet. The hole comes from... Anyways, Bullet Hole Shooter becoming a flight engineer.
Wow.
You get your name at the end of NASA Spaceflight Live episodes. You also get literally all of the perks, including Discord access, members multi-view, members only emoji, the members only streams, and behind the scenes content, and all the photos and everything. You get all of it because, holy cow, that's a huge amount of support. So thank you, Butthole Shooter. Or Bullet Hole Shooter. Wow, my brain is broken.
Whoa.
Yep. Patrick Fritz, thank you for becoming a PadRat member. Flawed Perspective, thank you for gifting... Oh, for the super chat. They say, finally, Frosty Bits, still trying to figure out the plan. We need legs for HLS and Mars. Seems like legs should be prioritized. Speculations. I mean, not super necessary right now. I trust me, I want to see legs, but it'll be a little bit of time, I think, before they're really necessary or prioritized. What do you think, Adrian?
I mean, it's kind of like a different design, right? You free a lot of stuff with because of course, so there's like two different designs here we are talking about. We have the moon, which with the HLS design, which of course doesn't need aerodynamic surfaces, and you have Mars, which then again needs aerodynamic surfaces. So there's a difference there. So that potentially brings you to already two more designs, which is the HLS moon variant, which will maybe be able to have some more space around there to put the legs, and then you have the Mars variant that need legs but also needs aerodynamics. So it's kind of similar to a normal LEO Starship besides the landing method. So it's kind of hard to say which maybe they already feel confident about their lag solution regarding the moon, because of course on the moon you have a bit of a different situation than on Earth. But we already saw in the last few days that tipping over on the moon is apparently an issue. Yeah, I mean, I think this is really like part of the overall HLS effort, and right there now they're still in the let's get this thing to orbit situation. And once they are there, they can then worry about all of the other steps. And again, we don't know if legs maybe are developed, or I'm actually quite sure legs are being developed somewhere. It's just a question of when are they getting tested on a vehicle. But I think there's a lot more to HLS than we see. There's way more on to Mars than we see, and they are probably developing somewhere something about it.
Agreed. Curtio is asking if there is an overpressure notice for today's testing, and the answer is no. Lyle Schustein is asking, do you think the chopsticks will capture Starship away from the OLM? Yeah, I don't think they'll catch directly over the OLM. It makes sense to be off to one side, right? But we'll have to wait and see how that happens. Ryan, what do you think?
I think the plan is to catch it off to the side where they lift it, basically, like right over that area where they usually put the stand and whatnot. I think that's the plan, is where to catch it, not over the OLM itself.
Which is wacky to me. Like, to me, catching it on the south side versus the north side would make more sense, given that you're further away from the orbital tank farm. But yeah, we'll see what happens.
I don't know how it won't change with the new pad, because the carriage design is still the same and whatnot. But the new pad here at Boca will have the stubby arms, so that'll be kind of interesting to see.
Speaking of the new pad, Adrian, you want to try saying this person's name? Because I'm just going to butcher it.
Of course. But, oh god, I think that's Dutch or Belgian. Boudewijn van Sambek? Probably?
Nice.
Boudewijn
Did
van
way better
Sambek?
than I would have done. Yes, thank you. They say, might the second tower at Boca Chica be for rocket catch training? Who wants to stomp on this?
No. Nope. They've already
Explain.
So, even Kathy Luters has said that it is a launch tower. Elon has said it's a launch tower. Everyone has said it's a launch tower. They're not going to build a catch-only tower. Never. They will literally never do that. You can take it to the bank. They'll never do it. They need launch towers more than anything they need in the world right now. Because they need to launch. They got HLS contracts, and they want to get more Starlings flying. They want to get to Mars. They need launch towers. They'll never make a catch-only tower.
Where did this come from? Is this just like an organic thing that it makes sense, like as a walk or crawl, walk, run kind of thing? Like a progression, and so people have latched onto it, or like Or did it actually come from somewhere? Because it is incredibly persistent. People asking about a catch-only tower, and it seems
I think
so clear that that is not going to be a thing.
so. I think there is some truth in this. There's the truth in this that you build a second launch tower and a second pad to have redundancy during catch attempts. Like the general idea is absolutely, I think, going into this direction. However, it's not. Well, you can just build a second pad, do the catch attempt with the first, and if it breaks or needs some time, you still have your second pad that you then build. So you build up redundancy without building a dedicated catch tower, right? So that's I think the overall idea that this is going for. So yes, it is for sure built for cadence and redundancy. However, it's not built for catch training itself. However, it's probably related in some shape or form to that.
And then
That's the diplomatic answer.
if I go into like catching too, like you build a catch only tower, all right. So the whole point of catching a booster is then you place the booster back on the OLM. Well, no, you don't have an OLM to put it on. You need a transport stand there waiting for it. Because are you really going to? And you have no way to safe a booster if you catch it without an OLM. Whatever propellants that are left in it, you have to boil them off and vent them, and it'll stay there hanging in the arms for hours and hours. And then you have to move a transport stand under it. There's a lot of risk with that. Same thing with a ship. How do you safe it? And the other part too is how do you catch a ship and then safe it and put it on a stand? I still think they'll never catch a ship. I don't think they will. Maybe a tanker. And the only reason they catch a tanker is if there's a booster already on the pad and they place it right on top of the booster for another flight. Is the only time I see them catching a tanker. Other than that, catching or landing a vehicle on the arms is kind of a better way to put it. Using that with ships I just don't think it's a good idea. I think they're going to go to legs on ship, period, and that's where it'll stay. I don't think they'll catch it.
So I think I'm going into argument mode here.
Okay.
I think that they will catch a ship. However, not without the major redesign of the pins being similar to the booster. I do not see the current design work where the pins go into the ship. I think it will happen in a way that they will also have like attachment points that go out below the flaps, and that's how I potentially see this. I do not like. I agree partly with you. I think the current design. I don't like. I'm game that's really like risky and really interesting, but I think they will kind of copy the booster way of landing this and then apply it to the ship, because why develop two ways to land if can you do it in one?
So, like, and of course, you would need like you would need deployable pins from the ship, which obviously carry their own risk. I mean, of course, it's a failure point, but because the thing with ship is you just can't have points sitting out there because they probably wouldn't survive reentry. And that's the other thing you have to consider with ship is how to create a system to land it on a set of arms, and the system is safe during reentry. So if they do decide to do it, and they actually do it, I'll be amazed, honestly, if they pull it off. Because it's going to be one of the coolest things to see ever. I mean, they land a booster back, and that's already cool, but landing it on a 2-point system on a set of arms is kind of insane to think about. Like, truly insanity.
Yeah, I mean, I'm surprised you're saying you don't think they'll ever catch a ship. I mean, who knows what the future holds, but it seems plausible to me, but who knows? We have a poll in chat. Catching rockets. Option A, yes, they will catch boosters. Option B, yes, they will catch ships. Option C, yes, they will catch both. And option D, no, they won't catch either. Right now, option C is winning. And Dale Needham says, could see a tower used to catch before it is fully fitted for launch. That is more plausible to me, but I would not call that a catch-only tower.
I
don't think it'd be ready. Because
I think they would. I would think they would rather use the current tower to attempt to catch, and then just get the second pad ready if they destroy the first. I don't like. I think you kind of want to demonstrate the ability to launch from a pad and then catch from the same pad in a short period of time. Like that's the whole system, right? So I do not see why they would outsource that to a second tower. But again, I'm open to be surprised.
You also have to factor in the fact that even by the time the second tower is done, do we think that they would even be ready to start attempting catches at that point? And I don't think so. And so I think even like 2 years from now, when the second pad is completely finished and there's a second mount and a second tower and all that, I still don't know if we'd be in the era of beginning to start trying catches. So the previous person's question was, catch. Maybe they catch before it's fully outfitted for launch, and it's like, yeah, but why would they even need to do that if they're not ready for catching by the time they have it built? Anyways, moving on.
I think we need to talk about the orbital tank farm here.
Go ahead.
It's going a bit wild, let's say it like that. You can see that by the evidence that you can no longer see the orbital tank farm, because the tower vent and everything is going crazy. This is some significant venting, and I'm kind of glad the wind direction is not a bit worse, because otherwise we wouldn't see Ship 28 that well anymore. But yeah, while Ship 28 takes its good time here, I think we see here right now how they are like really pushing the system all the way through here. Like, look at that waterfall vent.
yeah,
that's a healthy vent.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to the invisible booster static fire here. It's gonna be great.
Hayden, thank you for the store purchase. They say, thanks for the amazing coverage. Also, what's your predictions for Flight 3? Oh, and they got the patch.
Nice.
My prediction is Flight 3 in March. Mostly successful. Ship burns up on reentry. Ryan, what's your predictions for Flight 3?
Yeah, I'd say end of March, maybe early April. It's hard to tell, but I still think we're like 4 or 5 weeks out. I could agree with you. Yeah, ship burn up on reentry. What do you think about booster? I think booster could make it to soft splashdown in the Gulf.
Yeah, totally. Although maybe I should clarify. Oh, look, there's frost. We got some frost on the lower tank there.
Yeah, frost on the LOX tank.
Excellent.
There we go.
I guess I should clarify that maybe not ship burns up on reentry, but ship destroyed due to loss of control and like tumbling and aero forces tearing it apart.
Yeah, I think first off, I think it will be the 26th of March, because at this point it's lining up to be a birthday launch for me. So let's see.
Let's go.
And
lucky.
I think with the booster, I think the booster will be fine for the boost back burn, because I trust SpaceX that the addition of some sort of like slosh system there probably works. So I think the boost back burn will work. I'm not sure if it will go all the way through re-entry, because I think that's another like thing they have to learn without a re-entry burn to go through it. With the ship, I think it will lose control during re-entry and not reach Hawaii just yet. But they're getting close. That's my prediction.
Now, I would ask both of you, just because burning up on re-entry, what do you think causes it to lose control and burn up? Flap failure? like near the like a flap hinge failure due to hot plasma or something.
That makes too much sense. It's got to be something really stupid and trivial, like they didn't have a big enough battery and it runs out of power or something like that. that's what I'm gonna go for.
Oh, that's good.
Oh, like a I don't know. One of the flaps gets stuck and it starts to tumble.
Right? Like what was the Falcon 9 where the grid fin got stuck because they didn't have enough hydraulic fluid because it was an open system before they switched to the closed system and then it just ditched right in the water off the coast.
Is this CRS mission?
I think
Alex will
you're
know
right.
the name off the top of his head.
I'm waiting for him to start typing.
Yeah.
He might also pull this Alex on us with what he sometimes does. It's like, no, I'm not telling you.
I know he's only done that to me once, and yet every time I'm like wary now. I'm like gun shy.
The Alex, the CRS mission, which the booster on the CRS mission where the
Was it
Griffin failed due
16?
to loss of hydraulic fluid.
Yeah, it was 16. For the record, I guessed 16 before
Oh yeah.
he typed that. B1050
Yeah,
was that one.
It was boosters. That was the first mission for B1050, if I remember correctly, too.
Oh, poor B1050.
We should do like an NSF Live special episode where we just put Alex on a chair and then ask him every single Falcon 9 question we can come up with and see if there's a limit. Like,
I like this, and if he answers them all correctly, he gets like, I don't know, a cookie. And if he answers anything wrong once, even one wrong question, he has to shave his head.
yeah, that's the format. Pitch the show.
Greenlit. 10-episode run.
10-episode run.
Tuesdays on Fox. Let's see here. RC Horseman's asking if I'm happy they put the decals on properly this time. I am happy.
Yes.
28 has gotten its livery. However you're supposed to say that word. How do you say that word, Ryan?
Livery.
Yeah, livery.
Livery. I hate that word.
Yeah.
I never say it right.
One
but
watchers more.
Say what?
Formula One watchers like it's a
right.
Oh, plus watching planes, all the different liveries on planes and everything like that. Yeah, because the company I work for, Sun Country Airlines, they have like, I don't know, like 3 or 4 different liveries with like different fonts or colors. But then so livery.
But yeah, I am happy. Can I complain for a little bit because I never complain, so I figure I should take an opportunity.
Go ahead.
What's with calling them decals? Like is it paint? Is it stickers? Like
It's
to me,
stickers.
it's so that's why people call them decals. Okay,
Yes, they're stickers.
fine.
Like large, like placards kind of thing is what they are.
Hey, the ship just vented. It made a small
Cool.
poof.
Yeah, it looked like out of the LOX vent on the side.
Yep.
The frost line is growing slowly, but it is growing.
Mm-hmm.
And to be fair, if this is a spin prime, we are already close to what they might need to load.
Right.
Like, they don't need that much more.
More venting from the ship there. Beautiful. Ben Newberry, thank you for the super chat. They say they test what they want today, and tomorrow it goes well. Is it possible they stack and go for another wet dress rehearsal this week? It's possible. Without a booster at the pad, it's tricky to say when wet dress rehearsal testing will resume. But, I mean, once they get the booster back out there, I don't necessarily expect standalone booster testing, although maybe we'll see that given the issues they had with the first 2 attempts. So, really the main item here is get the booster back to the pad after doing whatever mods they're doing back at the production site to it. So, yeah, I don't know. What do you think, Adrian?
So, possible, yes. Plausible, I would say it's gonna be quite tough. Yeah, they could do it. However, that implies that all the things are fixed on all 3 things they want to fix. They roll out the booster like probably none later than, I don't know, Wednesday. and so far we have not seen like indications of that. Yeah, I mean, like, it's totally possible from an operations perspective. Let's word it like that. However, do we think it's plausible based on the fact that they're still testing this? Probably not, because they will probably also perform some sort of inspection on Ship 28 after this test. And we don't know if this will be its last test, so maybe not. We'll see. I think it will be more closer to like maybe the end of next week. That's my personal feeling of the like likely range of where we will see the full stack return. That's my answer.
Good answer. Ryan, what do you think?
Yeah, I'd agree with that. Be honest, it's gonna be interesting to see when they're ready again to do a wet dress. I guess it really does depend on when they get everything installed and when tank farm's good to go. We don't know when that'll be.
The Nerdy One gifting a Red Team membership, thank you. Tom V also gifting a Red Team membership. Charles as well. And Tank Watcher Vince, both gifting Red Team memberships. Thank you for that, both of you. Joe Howard, thank you for gifting 5 Red Team memberships. Moldy Space, I'm mad at you, Moldy Space. You know why I'm mad at you, but I'm mad at you. But I still love you. Thank you for gifting another Red Team membership. Jerk. Anonymous, thank you for grabbing something from the store. They say gotta catch them all. I suspect they got the patch. They get the patch. Let's see. They got the patch. Hooray. Colin, thank you for the store purchases as well. They say go for a great test. Fingers crossed we see a good test today. As a reminder, we are expecting some sort of engine testing, but not a full static fire, given that there has not been an overpressure notice delivered to Mary or residents of Boca Chica Village. And just because it happened one time, I always have to have the caveat. There has been a time where there was a static fire without an overpressure notice, but that is the exception, not the rule.
And we may not even see a methane frost line, because a lot of times with the spin prime on the ship, the transfer tube is enough methane for it. So we may just see a frost line on the LOX tank, and then they'll just go ahead and do it. So, yeah.
Bideford. Hi, Bideford. Thank you for being you. They gifted 10 Red Team memberships. Darren, thank you for the store purchase. Anonymous, thank you also for the store purchase. They say, do you think the water deluge system will be active on a catch? No, I don't think so. Not unless there's like some new deluge that like covers the top of the mount or something.
I do not think the directed thrust at the area would be like it's like a fraction of the thrust that you would have during an actual launch.
Right.
So I do not think they would need any deluge or fire eggs during that situation. Also, the deluge might not like the deluge cannot even fire that fast again because it needs to pressurize, and it basically fires for like 35 seconds or so, and after that it's kind of empty.
The other thing to consider is that when they catch this thing, a booster, it'll be the arms will probably be up around, I'd have to say probably around the QD or so, which is a decent amount higher, which is a little bit higher than the OLM. So the engines are farther away from the ground, and they're only going to be running 1, maybe 3, and it's not going to be even at full thrust. We're talking like half thrust for the catch. So yeah, the concrete below will be fine.
Matthew V or Matthew 5? I'm going to go with Matthew 5. They say, is a March 8th launch no longer possible? I mean, I don't think so. but never say never. But I doubt it. Adrian, you sounds like you have thoughts.
Yeah, usually we would expect about 15 to 20 days at least between wet dress rehearsal to launch based on previous expectations. We have not get the regulatory approval here. We don't have a launch license. We don't have vehicle stack. I feel very, very confident to say it will not launch on February 8, on March 8 or before. Like,
Yeah,
that's...
it's definitely not going to launch in the past.
Yeah, also not March 8. Like, we are probably based on previous, like, even if you reduce it to 15 days or so, based on some chances to reduce that, we are probably talking in the week of the 11th right now, as the, like, really, really optimistic earliest, and even there, more to the end. I think, no, there's no way it's gonna launch on March 8. That's, you can quote me on that.
Ryan?
No, it won't go on March 8th. Maybe 2-3 weeks after, I think, but it won't go on March 8th.
Yeah, I'm inclined to agree. Anonymous, thanks for the store purchase. Also, Tony as well. And Nick Salve gifting a Red Team membership. I'm glad y'all are liking the Flight 3 patch design. Pauline really knocked it out of the park. Adrian, what was your reaction when you saw the Flight 3 patch for the first time?
It's always so just to give like a bit of behind, like it's basically Mark and I think are usually the first people that get to see Pauline when she's like done with the stage of design, and she asks for feedback then, and we like usually it's just like amazing, and then we like add like 2 more variants to the process just to see, like, and usually it's like they're just the first, like we are always amazed like as well, because I mean they are really awesome. They're really, really awesome, and I'm looking forward to see all the future patches we will do.
Same. Bullet Hole Shooter, thank you for gifting 20 Red Team memberships. That's very generous of you. Thank you. And Skull Kid Ray, thank you for the support. They say smoked salmon is a really odd fuel choice for a rocket. Mind you, it is super oily. Joke acknowledged. Now I want a bagel, thanks.
Same. I didn't catch up. Like I didn't get breakfast before this, and now people are bringing up food. This is the worst.
Ryan, what's your favorite breakfast food?
There's a lot. Like I honestly, like bacon, eggs, and pancakes or French toast with a cup of coffee is like top tier.
Yeah, good call. Also, a good waffle or like a crepe.
Oh yeah.
Can't turn down a good crepe.
Like pancakes, whether it's like blueberry or chocolate chip or something like that, or you even do like strawberries on them, and some whipped cream add to it, or like French toast or waffles. It's really hard to beat any of those, along with like bacon and eggs. Can't beat it.
Right. Adrian, what's your favorite breakfast food?
Depends on if it's a like normal workday or Sunday. On Sundays, I would prefer like some good old, like, I think it's lye roll in English, like salty. Is it lye roll? I'm not sure. And to that, like some cheese, and then like I like classic German breakfast, like I don't know, bread, and then. And actually, I don't think that I do not think the British are that wrong with their breakfast. I really like beans for breakfast as well.
All right.
I have to say in our back channel, waffles are just pancakes with abs from Carson. Okay, that's actually funny. Yeah,
that's pretty good.
Thank you also for bringing this back to food. This is really like perfect.
Yeah, no, you said you hadn't gotten to eat, so I figured we'd talk about food some more.
I also want to give myself the award for misrepresenting the German breakfast in the best possible way by saying our classic breakfast is bread. There's more to it. It's not just bread. We are not that like boring.
I mean,
what is it,
English,
Brötchen? That's a thing, right?
Yeah, of course. And then you have like cheese, sausage, maybe some jelly, of course boiled eggs. That's like, and of course a good coffee. What am I talking about? Okay, let's go back to ship 28.
We have some I think skirt venting is what I should say. So that's a good sign. We're getting further here.
Yeah, and the frost is continuing to grow. Ship doing a little vent here and there. So things are progressing. Is the recondenser still active?
It puffs from time to time. It's active, so we are still in a good situation here. I think we are progressing well to. I don't know. Like it could happen honestly in the next 20, 30 minutes or now, like somewhere in that area.
I would expect the engine chill to start sooner rather than later, but it hasn't yet. So,
yeah,
something to keep an eye for. Oop, box fan. And just to add to this, the OLM is still going strong. Like,
It is.
Yeah.
I don't know what they're doing with it, but they seem to do some kind of large purging, or they're really testing the lock side of things for the booster. So,
Have we seen the methane side of the orbital tank farm spool up, or is it just the lock side?
it's just looks like it's been the lock side, as far as I can tell. Anyways.
Yeah, there's some venting from the methane side, but the focus was so far definitely on the lock side. Which makes sense, of course, because like
No vehicle.
if you want to test something, you want to test it with locks, not with methane.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
If that was methane in the tank farm, then you get it.
It would ignite the OLM.
Kaboom!
Please
we
no
don't want to see
kaboom.
that. We don't want a kaboom.
Kaboom.
We don't want that. No.
No earth-shattering kaboom, please.
We did. It's a long time since we had an earth-shattering kaboom.
Don't jinx it.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Yeah, well, don't.
In before S28, S24, SN4s itself.
Oh God, no!
Yeah.
Please no. Canan Copeland, just to reiterate, is asking, do we expect just a spin prime today, and will that be enough? Who knows? Maybe they do a spin prime today and a static fire tomorrow or Wednesday. But today we do not have an overpressure notice in play, so not expecting any static fire today.
Yeah, it's quite unlikely for them to perform two tests at this day. At this stage, we had that in the past, where they sometimes would perform like multiple static fires, for example, on a day. Looking at you, ship serial number 9. But overall, I think at this point they're a bit more step by step. So I think if we see a static fire, which is not guaranteed at all, it would be on tomorrow's or on Wednesday's closure.
Neat. SpaceX Sammy, thank you so much. They say lunch is on me. Enjoy. Love you guys. It's very kind of you. Thank you. Ryan, grabbing something from the store. They say, any new camera angles planned for IFT3? How about some behind-the-scenes streams for members about what you guys will do for NSF? Well, we don't have anything specific to announce, I'll put it that way. But definitely always looking to improve our views, especially for flights of the full vehicle. So stay tuned. We do have some cool stuff in the works, and some cool stuff. We had some cool stuff last time that I messed up because I'm a big dumb idiot. So if I don't mess up that stuff this time, then even just that will be really, really cool. But yeah, just stay tuned. We'll talk more about that as we get closer to flight, and we have some cool things planned for the stream too. In general, not specifically like new camera wise, but just things we're cooking. Like Adrian said, we're cooking. I don't want to leak any more than that.
Yep.
let's see. Ken N. Copeland's asking, it seemed like they weren't going to test it again until the wet dress rehearsal went bad. Are they doing this since they have time while they wait for Booster 10? Yeah, I sort of think that's a logical explanation for what we're seeing here in terms of... I feel like if they had intended to do this spin prime, they would have done the spin prime before stacking, but they went straight to the stacking and encountered issues, rolled Booster 10 back, and, I mean, heck, now you have a ship at the pad, you might as well do some testing with it while you have some time. That makes sense to me. Is that actually what happened, or was this planned from the get-go? Who knows? We're not SpaceX, hard to say, but I don't know. Ryan, what do you think?
I think they'll just go right for a wet dress again. Honestly.
Yeah, but do you think they're doing this spin prime testing now, or whatever testing they're doing today, because they have time because of the issues, or do you think it was planned from the get-go to like stack, do a wet dress, and then test the ship?
It's possible they planned it straight from the get-go, because of the engine stuff that they did to S-28. Because they probably just wanted to test the connections. That'd be my guess as to why they're doing this. I don't think it was something in response to what happened on the wet dress. I think it was something that they planned on, and they just wanted to they wanted to do the wet dress, find any issues that they needed to find, and then go ahead and do whatever they needed to do to each vehicle. So that's what I think they did.
Adrian, what do you think?
I'm leaning into that, because I do not see how, like, I would be... So, this test right now, I do not think has issues with the wet dress rehearsal related, because if they really perform spin prime here, like, I do not see how an engine got that, like, the engine replacement was before this. So I think the least likely candidate for the whole wet dress issue was actually the ship. I think they might just take their time here with the ship, and the tank farm and the booster are actually the main culprits. So, but not sure 100%.
Ryan, oh, I already did that one. Thank you for grabbing some stuff from the store there. And Wolf, thank you for gifting 5 Red Team memberships. Looking for some more questions as we continue to watch the frost line on Ship 28. It seems like it's sort of reached a steady state, no?
Yeah, it seems like we're kind of waiting for like stuff like engine chill here to commence once we are getting closer to whatever they are testing today. But it seems like it's a bit stale right now. We'll see how this develops.
Interesting. Let's see here. Eric 1808 is asking, sorry if you have already answered this question, but thoughts on a plan B during a landing if a ship or booster decides that fuel is too low for a catch attempt? Well, we sort of see this with Falcon 9 in terms of RTLS landings and even barge landings, where the booster does not target the LZ or the barge until it's like certain that it's going to be able to land. Otherwise, it is up until the last second is targeting offshore or not the barge, so that if it does go into the drink or go out of control, it doesn't damage any infrastructure or pose a threat to anybody. So I think in this case, if the booster or ship is coming in and there's some sort of issue or it doesn't have enough fuel to land, they just go into the Gulf of Mexico and avoid damaging the launch infrastructure. I don't know. What do you think, Ryan?
So my guess is they'll do the same thing as they do with Falcon 9. So when Falcon 9 comes in, it's not originally aiming for either the drone ship or the pad. When they fire to do the landing, they dogleg it over so that it lines up. My guess is booster and ship will do the exact same thing. Ship's going to be a little bit harder though, because it's coming in, it's flying in basically, gliding in. So I don't know how they'll do that. They could probably adjust the flaps in a way that they can splash it off the coast if they had to. Booster will probably act the same way as Falcon 9. They'll bring it down, they'll line it off the coast or line it off to the side so that it's not going to hit the infrastructure. And when they know they're in a good position to hit it, they'll light the engines, do the dogleg, and go ahead and hit the mark. So it'd be kind of interesting to see how they do it with ship though, considering it's not going to do a landing. It'll do a landing burn, but the landing burn will literally be like right above the tower. So.
Good deal. Good question. Apocalypse Cow, thank you for gifting 5 Red Team memberships. And Mr. Rich Texas gifting 1, and also Lars Notenboom gifting 1 as well. I'm being real careful with names. I don't know if you can tell.
The tower vent is a lot more powerful than it was in the past.
Yeah, holy cow. That's like waterfowl, but for the tower vent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It looks
Also going well here.
Neat. Ryan R. Rides is saying SpaceX has definitely not slowed down, but they are obviously making sure to cross all their T's and dot their I's with safety. Yeah, I mean, you can see here, whatever they're doing at the orbital side, clearly they are making sure systems are up to snuff for when the booster does come back and when they do have a full stack again. It makes sense.
like without the usage of the methane side, it looks like they're doing some kind of weird mashup. It's not really a countdown, really, but they're doing. It's hard to tell what they're doing. I think it's just normal testing, but it doesn't look like anything like a countdown or anything like that.
Steve Park is asking, does this test stand tie into the same tanks as the orbital launch mount? No.
Nope.
Different tanks.
It's the suborbital tank side, and as we said before, it's like it might just be one of the last tests this tank side will do. Because they have already started to destruct the parking lot next to it, and we know that this is the area where the second launch tower will go. So at some point, I mean, this might be one of its last tests.
Pretty wild to think about. This is such a long-standing part, one of the older parts of the launch site. And like everything in Starbase, don't get attached, because things change.
As long as they don't touch Starhopper.
Don't even put that out in the universe.
They're going to build a berm to protect it. Like it'll be a bit exposed to a full OLM if they leave that opening there.
Yeah, honestly, with the news that the second pad is going to go over by the suborbital side, that does worry me for the fate of Starhopper. I hope if anything happens, they just move it. If they need to, and they don't scrap it. I would be so heartbroken. I would riot.
I think moving it to the Starbase sign might be a good idea.
Oh, that would be amazing. I like this idea.
I think that would be a good good area to put it.
I agree.
Yeah, I like that idea. Yeah, right there, because currently that area is now parking while they build it's 6-tier parking garage that they're going to build by the Stargate building. And then once that's done, go ahead and, lift up 26 with a pair of SPMTs and set it down over there. And it's a museum piece for Starbase. I like that idea. Yeah.
Can we? Should I at this point once again bring up that SN15 was in fact not conserved but destroyed?
Yeah, I was mad about that. I would be furious about Starhopper getting destroyed.
I still don't
Yep.
know why they haven't gotten rid of 20 and B4. Like, I really don't know.
I mean, 20's a
And-
cool Gate Guardian. Like, it looks cool, even though it looks jank. Like, it is a complete starship, so it looks neat. But Booster 4, man, I have zero clue what's going on there. Like, why?
But why these two, not SN15? Like, if of all the
15
things you could have scrubbed.
Because 15 didn't have the complete heat shield, so it didn't look complete. It looked like a prototype. I think that's the only reason I could think. Mr. Rich Texas, thank you for the $20 super chat. They're asking when IFT3 stickers. Adrian,
We are working on a solution regarding the stickers. It comes down to some chain and logistics challenges. It might not be a matter of days, but longer, to be honest with y'all. But we have seen that people want stickers back, and we are working on it. It's just a matter of like finding like a good solution for some things we have to figure out there.
great. But until then, the design comes on shirts and the patch and other cool stuff as well, so. Lars Notenboom, thank you for gifting a Red Team membership. Musical Wolves, thank you for the super chat. They say, why is the tower venting with no ship on the OLM? Are they using both tank farms at the same time? Seems like it. Like Adrian said at the top of the stream, seems like they're doing some testing with the orbital launch mount while they have this road closure.
Yep, and I'm still staring at the bottom here of ship 28 because we are definitely in a window where something could happen. I mean, it's kind of like static-ish. It vents from time to time. So it's like really curious what's going to happen here.
The odd thing to me is no engine chill. If we
Yeah.
were expecting a spin prime, there's no engine chill at all. So
Still watching the frost line. I feel like it's gone up a little bit, but it's either moving very slow or it's stopped.
Yeah, it seems. And so far, we are looking at a good situation. Friendly reminder but for everybody who has forgot how the suborbital tank farm works. As long as the former flare stack, now vent stack, is not going, we are in a good situation. The vent stack going would be a bad situation, but this is still like progressing in some sort of countdown.
Another vent from ship 28 there. You'll love to see it. Bullet Hole Shooter, thank you for the super chat. They say, are donations or gift memberships better? What's your highest donation? Well, first off, it's support. We don't really call it a donation. It's support. The super chats are super appreciated. The memberships are awesome. I know you came in as a flight engineer, so you're already at the top level of that. So thank you so much. I think the highest you can do through YouTube is what, 400, something like that. But we also have tips.nasaspaceflight.com, and that does not go through Google's whole thing. So it goes straight to us. So really, the best way, if you're looking to support us, is and you're already a member and doing all the other things like you are because you're amazing. Tips.nasaspaceflight.com is the best way to support us, and I don't think there's a limit. But thank you. We appreciate all of your support on this stream. Okay, I'm being told in the back channel the YouTube max is 500. But a third of that goes to YouTube.
Yeah, I think we had one member who kind of bypassed that by using 500 pounds, and for some reason it went through. So that was there's some technicalities here regarding YouTube, but that was what's happening.
We have a new poll. in chat.
Uh-oh.
The text of the poll is just hopper, and the options are must be saved at all costs, in parentheses salute, or scrap it because I have no soul.
Do you think sometimes the polls are influenced by the potential answers that people are allowed to give?
Oh, absolutely. The polls are often very biased, but in this case, I agree to. I agree with the bias in this one, so I like it. But every time the polls are like biased against whatever I'm arguing for, I'm like, Chris, because he's the one doing them.
The Hoppy discussion is flaming up in the back channel again.
It is.
I can confirm that.
Let's not pour gas on that fire.
Speaking of fire, so far we have seen no significant progress here. It's still like the LOX line is still rising a bit. So it seems like LOX loading is still undergoing, but still no engine chill. Like, it remains to be seen what they are going for here.
It's odd.
Yeah.
You know, SpaceX just loves throwing us curveballs, don't they, Adrian?
The last time I was on a ship test, they did a 3-minute depress vent before firing. That was fun.
Hang on, I'm yelling at Max in our back channel.
That's totally fine. Another vent here coming up, and the recondenser is also still going. So we are still... Like, everything is good. Like, don't panic yet. And the OLM has significantly spooled down from the we cannot see it anymore situation it was on earlier. So there's that. I also want to add that the recondenser has mostly stopped if we're looking at our members multiview here. Like it goes from time to time, but it's only in this puffing pattern, but not really in this full on I'm fueling you up pattern. So there's that.
Mm-hmm.
Ryan, thank you for the super chat. They're saying they're just saying removal of Starhopper will result in blocking of the highway, stopping all future space activities. Are we clear, SpaceX?
Yeah, we could see a situation where they just have wrapped up LOX loading because the whole tank farm changed kinda, and that usually means like a change of condition from loading to unloading, whatever. So we'll see if they maybe are done fueling this up, and again, if this is a spin prime, we should see some sort of engine chill, I guess.
Maybe, hopefully soon. We hope.
Yeah, fingers crossed. Interesting.
Unless this turns into just a tanking test.
It could be. It could very well be.
Yeah.
Adrian, what was your estimate based on when LOX load started?
I said 20 to 30. But that was not even spreadsheeting. That was kind of turning around and just shooting blindly kind of situation based on just some experience watching this, but I didn't spreadsheet this at all. I just there goes the ground line here.
Oh, interesting.
There's engine chill.
That's engine chill.
So that's 15 minutes now, so we are talking about for something 11:42-ish.
You gave us a specific minute and say ish. That's...
No, I just added 15 minutes to a time. I still know that engine chill goes on for about 15 minutes, and 27 plus 15 is 11:42. There's not that much math in this. It's very basic. Trevor would not be proud about this. Chris saying in back channel 11:42, 12.55-ish.
Let's see.
So we'll see.
Flawed Perspective is asking for recommendations on which hoodie to get to sew their patches on. Any suggestions, Adrian, as our resident store expert?
It's a good question. I think based on everything we have, maybe a Starship related hoodie that would be possibly. I think Destination Known would be cool for that. I have my patches personally. I have them on my backpack. So there's that. Like that's how I use them. Like I have my patch backpack. So yeah, and also there's Tower Vent going. Look at that.
Yeah.
Yeah, once again, the tower vent has cranked up.
And also the engine chill on the ship is going really strong here.
I wonder if this is like a massive just purge of the OLM. Not the OLM, the OLP as a whole. You know.
Well, just hear me out.
Mm-hmm.
If this was some sort of simulated combined test, which I'm just completely speculating here, the LOX load on the ship has stopped. Or appears to have stopped. So, if the ship was stacked on a booster and prop loading was completed, that's when we would see the tower vent start up again, right?
But the timing does not line up, as Alex has said in the back channel there. The tower vent was definitely not strong enough before a supposed load of the ship, before ship loaded on the pad B. So,
Also it was going while the ship was loaded.
Yeah, which doesn't happen when they load it.
I accept your logic. Samuel in chat is saying LOX load has not stopped. Is it? Let me do a little A/B test here. Hang on. The old alpha beta. I guess it is going up very slowly.
Yeah, it's I think it's like some sort of like barely topping off mode, maybe. There's also this effect, so there's this effect where you have some boil off, right? And boil off will start to create more frost in like, because even boiled off LOX is still cold. Like that's still minus degrees. So that even will create still some frost above. So you will have some rising of the frost, even though they are no longer fueling. That we have seen, especially on these long duration tests, where the whole tank at some points gets really icy, based on just the boil off gas. So that's always like a bit of a visual like mislead sometimes, I guess.
Right. That engine chill on the ship is really going strong now, as the tower vent is petering out.
I will say this for this test right now. So, I mean, we don't have an overpressure notice, and there is no visible methane load. I mean, there is a methane load, because we know the recondenser was going, but there is no visible, ring. So, it means no, at least right now, it means no static fire. So.
Also, to kind of overpressure notice, like there's a, like just everything. If it, I mean, there's a good chance I will clown myself here in about 15 minutes, but everything here screams spin prime.
Yeah.
Why spin prime and not pre-burner?
I mean, they could in theory still do one.
Likelihood of tests based on previous history, I would say, is the main reason I would say this, because if you look at the ratio of spin primes versus pre-burners, likelihood of spin primes is higher. Also, isn't pre-burner an ignition, so they need to did they do some overpressures for that?
I'm not positive, but I suspect you're right, but I'm not positive.
I don't remember there being an OP notice for S26's pre-burner test. But I don't remember that. As far as I know, they didn't have one.
I think you're right about 26. I don't know about historically.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think historically they had overpressure notices, because technically there's an ignition source. So it's there's always outliers, But I think historically pre-burners are ignition sourced, so they need an overpressure notice, so that also makes a spin prime likelier. Adding to the whole fact that a spin prime is likelier based on that, like 95% of these tests are spin primes.
Adrian, look at the back channel.
I saw it while talking.
Z, thank you for becoming a Padrat member. And Ray W, thank you for the super chat. They say, is the frost line on the ship at the same level as it was on the aborted wet dress rehearsals? Not the first one. It's probably around where it was for the second one, but I feel like it's a little bit more than they got to.
Yeah. I don't think there's a correlation though. This is like a very typical load we would see on the ship during testing. Like this is about what we expected, where the hatch is covered completely and it doesn't leave like the flap area. Like that's how I would word it.
And Alex is saying that the methane tank was loaded more than this as well for the aborted wet dress, the second one.
Yeah, because of course you like on these tests they will never load more methane than they need because, well, methane is kind of has the tendency to go boom. Technical term here. So using as little methane as you can while also using logs to make it a bit more heavy is always a good idea. They tend to do that on a lot of tests. Look at that tower vent. Is the QD arm venting? Sorry, is the like there's a second vent. Do I have the tower vent and right next to that? That's the QD arm venting.
Neat.
It's like two little vents going to a party.
They're friends.
Yes.
Going to a party?
Yeah, I don't know. That's what I got. Just roll with it.
Somebody get this man some food. He's getting delirious.
Yeah, let's talk about our favorite breakfast again.
Yeah, I'm partial to a good like donut.
Stop.
Or like
a joke that was sarcasm.
Maybe like a croissant, like a ham and cheese croissant.
We might just be 5 to 10 minutes away here from the potential test of Ship 28 here on suborbital Sand B, which we suspect might be a spin prime test. Jack, are you excited about that?
Maybe like a blueberry muffin.
Ryan, are you excited about that?
I'm extremely excited about that. Let's do this.
There you go. Thank you.
Maybe like some scrambled, or like a southwestern omelet, like with some bell pepper in there.
6 minutes remain on the usual duration of the engine chill here. So we are probably looking at around like 11:42ish, maybe a bit earlier, maybe a bit later. We'll see.
Can't go wrong with steak and eggs. Steak and eggs always good.
I am running out of things to talk.
Tower vents active again.
Can I just say I love being on the sideline to this. It's great. I love it.
I'm doing my best here. I'm doing my best.
Methane Man, thank you for gifting 5 red team memberships. And wow, Mr. Rich Texas upgrading to flight engineer. Thank you so much, Mr. Rich Texas. You get all of the perks ever. All of them. You get members multi-view, which again is live for this stream and for any major testing streams that we do. So check out the members multi-view because now you have access. Well, you already had access because you were already a member because you upgraded to flight engineer. But either way, sweet perks are now yours. So thank you, Methane Man. And hop into Discord if you're not already and say hey. Adrian, can we give Carson permission to post this image in the member Discord?
Yeah, go ahead. But hey, we are looking here at like I'm disappointed we are in the short sentence mode sometimes because like I don't want to jinx it, but there's always the potential that they like do something we didn't expect, right? Like that's the chances are not high, but not zero.
Do you think if they do a spin prime or preburner, we'll see the Deluge, the water system on Pad B activate, or is that only for static fires? I forget.
Usually you would only see that on a pre-burn or static fire, if I recall correctly, and not on a spin prime. I don't remember it being active on spin primes.
So, what are you what are you looking for next?
Actually, if it's a spin prime, there's always a chance it just happens. Like we had that before, where it's just suddenly poofing, and we are like, oh, there's the spin prime, and excited commentator noises. That's kind of what happens sometimes, because their spin primes, like in general, these get like very little notice. But of course, every commentator should have at this point have their eyes like focused on the bottom of the ship, because there could always be fire suddenly. So we are looking for that, more venting. But Alex is also saying there was some deluge earlier on earlier spin prime tests, so we'll see. And of course, the big question we also will answer is if this is a spin prime, is it one engine or is it multiple? I'm sorry, every change in gas here is making me nervous.
No, you're good. I appreciate your vigilance, and that's a good question to ask. Will whatever test this ends up being be with all 6? Will it be with just the engines that have potentially been replaced? We don't know. We'll just have to watch and sort of find out together. More venting from the ship there.
We are now clearing 1140. About 2 more minutes until we would see a spin prime based on the expected timing.
I miss these tests so much.
Yeah,
Like guesswork.
When we used to get them left and right, and you were able to just absolutely pinpoint the timing of things. It makes me so happy still.
It was so fun. That was I think the first one I did was SN9 after SN8, if I recall correctly. That was fun. I was like before I even joined the team, so I just always DM'd you all. That was fun.
Right. I remember being like, we should really get this guy. Like, he's really good.
And here we are.
Fast forward, here we all are sitting.
Yeah, right. Keeping an eye on the base of the ship. I'm waiting to see some vapors.
Yep. At any given point.
Yeah, it could be any moment now. Holy moly! What?
Huh?
Bullet hole shooter with a $300 tip. That is just so much money. Like, thank you so much. We have a lot in work for Flight 3, and that is incredibly generous of you, and you better believe we're going to plow that back into the field of good coverage that we try to cultivate here at NSF. Thank you so much. It really means the world. I want to continue thanking you, but I also don't want to miss this test, which could be happening any second now.
Yep, absolutely. We are now arriving really at the window where it's like the usual frame of since the start of the engine shell. It might, but it also might again, we have seen countless holes regarding this.
Is there a little bit of condensation on the bottom of the methane tank? Am I just making things up?
Oh, that happens sometimes because it's still cold, right?
Right.
And we know methane has been loaded based on the fact that the methane recondenser was up. Yeah, now leaving the 42 area, so my minute guess was wrong.
Could be just a brief hold, who knows? Or we could just be completely wrong. That's tank watching for you.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, for all we know, for all we know, they maybe never went to go to a spin prime, and they are now they will soon detect the vehicle of their tanking test. Like,
Yeah.
it's not something we can like with confidence confirm or deny.
This is true. Luca, thank you for the support. They say when onboard flight footage, if ever. Hopefully for Flight 3. Fingers crossed. Ryan O'Brien, nice name there. Thank you for the super chat. They say today's commentary is why I love NSF live coverage. No need for stuffy practice commentary here. Thanks, Ryan. I'm glad you enjoy what we do.
We are not practicing commentary here.
Ryan, how do you feel
Let's
about Eggs Benedict? Like, it's pretty tasty, right?
Yeah, Eggs Benedict's pretty good. Yeah.
You can see some of the venting on the side of the ship here going on, as they are getting closer here.
Yeah, look at that.
That's interesting here going up. We've seen that vent from time to time on different vehicles in different shape or forms, so that vent has been changing. That's certainly a thing. I'm right now scrolling back. Yeah,
this almost reminds me of the old tri-vent, but it's not that. But it reminds me of it.
That vent was cool.
Never forgot Mustache vent. Never forget it.
And Morar Adrian, thank you for becoming a Padrat member.
Good name.
Waiting to see what's going to happen here.
I'm looking at previous replays of Ship 28.
We are now 18 minutes from the start of engine chill, which is quite a long time.
Yep.
And longer than we would typically see before some sort of testing took place.
Let me quickly verifying how long it went on for the 6-engine static spin prime. No, actually static fire.
That's a good one from Ryan.
Jerwa? No, go ahead.
No. From Ryan Hansen in chat. Is there a launch today? That's a good one.
Wait, the Ryan Hansen?
The Ryan Hansen.
What's up, Ryan? Always love your work. It's absolutely phenomenal.
Absolutely, always.
It's so funny. Like back in the SN 5, 6, 8, 9, the low altitude flight days. That would always be what people ask. And even still, when you're out there in Starbase around the orbital pad, you can tell when someone is like just sort of casually interested in what's going on, and they'll be like, "Hey, are they doing anything today? Is it going to launch?" And I'm like, "Buddy, I appreciate your enthusiasm, but if it was going to launch today, I assure you would not be here, and you would know."
Yeah, but it's always fun because you can see like there's just, for example, also casual beachgoers, right? That are just
right.
This sound confusing.
Mm-hmm.
Probably from the orbital side. I don't see any venting on ship.
You can see the lock side going up again on the orbital side. Huh. Interesting.
Odd.
I think I just saw some vent from the header tank of the ship.
Oh, I must have missed it.
Maybe I'm confused. Like maybe I was wrong. It looked.
No, Alex says it was.
Alex also. Okay, it was not just me.
Interesting. All right, well, we'll keep our eyes on the header tank area.
Yeah, that is interesting. So they have loaded the header tanks, or at least starting to load them, or whatever. Yeah. Which they tend to do that a lot. During tests, they'll load the header tanks kind of as just along with the mains.
I miss the tileless nose cone days when you could just see the frost on the tip of the nose cone plain as day.
That was cool.
It was always cool.
It was literally cool.
Yeah. There was it again. Left side, there
Nice.
was the vent.
Yeah. Neat. Marcus is asking, is there a reason why the LOX tank is at the bottom instead of methane? Because it's bigger? I don't know. I'm not a rocket scientist. Ryan, what do you... Say words. Go.
Say words, go. LOX tank's on the bottom because LOX is heavier than methane. Kind of like on Falcon 9, the RP-1 is heavier than the LOX, so they have it on the bottom. They tried on Booster 1, BN1, the good old lovely BN1, where
The LOX was on top.
yeah, where they put the LOX on top. Denser. Oh, maybe I'm an idiot, and LOX is on top, and it's heavier and denser. Sometimes we get things wrong. Anyways, they tried that on BN1, where they wanted to put LOX on top, methane on bottom, and well, we all remember how that looked. It was a little janky to say, especially the way they stacked it. So.
Yeah, Alex in the back channel saying that on Falcon 9, LOX is on top. So, go figure.
Interesting. I'm just totally out of here speculating, but like, I wonder if it's the configuration that will always lead to the lowest center of mass. Like, because that would be helpful during a landing, right? Or am I completely wrong with my Kerbal gained knowledge here? I will look if somebody is like heavily correcting me.
I'm way out of my element, so
My
Yeah,
guess would be lower center mass. That'd be my guess too. Center CG positioning, center of gravity.
I'm leaving my expertise and knowledge here, so I will remain silent and also look at the vents at the forward flaps that are both now continuously going.
Oh yeah, look at that.
Also, there's like this very intense sound going on now, where I'm wondering where that is from. Interesting.
The nose cone is venting like crazy.
I think the lock site just started to spool up again a bit on the suborbital tank farm.
Look at all the vents on the nose cone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that header tank venting or is that RCS?
That's header tank vents up there, and the cowbell vents up there are going as well.
Interesting. Yeah. This is like everything is going right now.
Someone in chat says the vent is just to build hype.
It's like a drum roll.
Hear me out. Instead of the cowbell vent, they should put like those little air horn, like a semi truck has, like the little air horn attachment, so that when they vent, it's just like a train sound.
Well, you say that, but then you see it once using that at RCS during landing, and it's like weird.
Just imagine the Doppler effect. It'd be amazing. And then when it blows up.
Like there's weird sounds going on at this tank farm right now.
Yeah.
Never a dull day in Starbase.
And I mean, it's not related to S28, but unless it's my eyes, it looks like the methane side on the orbital tank farm is also going.
I think that might be what we are just hearing, because it's closer to the microphone we are using right now. So I think what we are hearing right now is not even the suborbital tank farm. This might be the methane side of the orbital tank farm going. Which also explains the high volume. Yeah, I want to give a shout. I want to give a shout out, by the way, to SpaceX for the crane parking. Like the location is prime.
It's great.
Yeah, it's like, thank you. It's like perfectly in the middle of one of our shots.
Irwa, thank you for
There.
the. Oh.
No, it's just the crane. Look at that.
Oh.
Oh. Yeah.
Thank you for the super chat, Jerwa. They say Jack reminiscing about old school tank watching requires only one response. Grass vent.
Oh.
Ah,
The good old grass vent. Adrian's
Rumble
favorite
sound.
vent.
Fish.
can tell you a lot of
Reading the red
can
team.
tell
Go
you a
ahead.
lot of
Go ahead.
a lot of people from the NSF team had fun photographing. Like I actually have a selfie with the grass vent.
I love
Go
it.
ahead.
Great.
Sean plays too much. Thank you for the support. Igley is asking, could the wet dress rehearsal aborts be something related to the newly added slosh rings in Booster 10? Ahem, welding kaput because cryo temps. I don't even know that we don't necessarily even know that they added slosh rings. Like it's reasonable speculation because of the new weld lines, but we don't have a camera inside of Booster 10, so I think it's kind of hard to say definitively what those new weld lines are. It would make sense if they were additional slosh baffles, but I mean, without seeing a picture of Booster 10 internally, I feel not super comfortable stating that there's new slosh rings in Booster 10 definitively, but it would make sense. Either way, assuming that they are indeed new slosh rings in Booster 10, I would be surprised if those are what caused an abort, but I am not a rocket scientist. Ryan, what do you think?
If they, I mean, we know they added more weld. They welded something on the inside of the tank because we can see the weld lines. If those welds failed because of cryo temps, that's some bad welding. I'll say that. That's some pretty bad welding if that would be the case. That those should absolutely not fail in cryo temps, as long as they're welded correctly. I don't think that's I think that's one of the issues for it. It's probably something we don't know about. It'd be my guess if there is something wrong vehicle side, but obviously we just don't know.
Adrian, what do you think?
Yeah, I don't like. I think if that would have happened, they wouldn't do two, like because there were of course two aborts, like one right after fueling and one like after that. I think they would have not done two tests. Like if there's a potential for a weld failure, that would have warranted an instantaneous stop of testing.
Still have the engine chill vent going. Still seeing occasional vents from the nose cone. Tower and OLM seem to have calmed down a bit.
Yep. It's one of these situations where we're staring at it and it could happen in, I don't know, an hour from now, and it could happen in 5 seconds from now. Because we are definitely in this uncharted territory where a test behaves as non-expected.
It definitely seems like they've been testing a lot of the different valves and RCS and whatnot on 28, so like a systems test kind of thing. Since they're, roads closed, they have it loaded, why not test it kind of thing. And I guess it's the same thing with the OLM. It's roads closed, let's use the time, let's test everything we can. But as to why they haven't spin primed, if they do plan on doing a spin prime, I don't know. It's just kind of, they're doing a lot of weird stuff right now, and there's some more venting from the header tanks. So,
Oh?
it's a little spurt.
Look at that venting from the bottom again.
Yeah. Skirt venting.
Yeah. Interesting. Like, it feels like it might have been just a bit of a hold here where they, like, stopped the engine chill a bit and, like, just keep it continuous. And now it moves into a bit of an action again. Like, it's really hard to see. Like, it looked almost like
that Alex might?
It was that these that looked. Can we? That didn't
was
look
the
like a
spin
spin. That looked weak.
That was the spin prime. I think. Yeah. That was the spin prime of, I think, a single like RVAC.
Well, there you go.
Maybe.
And yeah, and now it looks like a depress.
Yeah.
All right, looks like a single engine spin prime with ship 28 just occurred. Let's get some
we need some-
replays from our other
Yeah.
angles so we can see what that looked like from all of our cameras. If you have members multi-view, then you probably saw it from all the other angles. But we will get some additional views here and be able to analyze exactly what we just saw. But that certainly looks like a successful spin prime of a single engine on 28.
Yeah, that was so sorry for us initially missing that, because it was just a single RVAC apparently, or like single, which we expected probably based on the fact that is maybe the replaced engine. That was just very faint to see. Like it almost looked like some log stumping, venting, but it was apparently a spin prime. We are working on replays here, so we also were confused. Again, don't put me on ship streams anymore. Every time I'm on a ship stream, it gets super confusing.
All right. Well, interesting test. SpaceX has the road closure today until 8 p.m., but I suspect they won't be using it in its entirety.
That looked... I don't know, it looks like it was... It looked like it may have been more than one engine.
Yeah?
Trying to tell here, it looks like it could have been a couple. Which is... Yeah, it might have been like 2 or 3.
There was a lot of vapor down there, so it wouldn't surprise me.
You can hear the audio, by the way, of the depress. Like you can hear this almost high hissing sound when the depress vent goes.
Right,
if it goes again, I will be like
like a whistling sound. Yeah.
Yeah, you can hear it going up in the end when they close the valves again. It's like a really interesting. Yeah. Oh. It's amazing.
Oh, that's pretty great.
I agree with Alex here in our back channel. I think it was 3 engines, which, funny enough, would track, because as far as we know, they did take off 1 RVAC and at least 1 or 2 centers. So that would track with wanting them to at least check the connections on those 3 engines. So
Yeah, that would make sense.
Interesting.
Neat. Again, we are working on replays, so stay tuned. We'll have some additional angles to show y'all of the test as it happened. In the meantime, thank you K32 for the 2 super chats. First one, they say Ship 28 should do a quick 12-kilometer hop before Flight 3. I'm on board.
I mean,
No.
I'm on board as a, like, I want to see that perspective, but I'm not sure how Ship 28 would handle that without landing legs.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, they could just pull a Kerbal and land right on the aft skirt. I'm not saying it's a good idea. I'm just saying they could.
It's like a, should they? No. Would I absolutely celebrate if they would? Yes.
Yes. K32 again, they say they should also do a hop test with the booster. I'm sure that would turn out great.
You know, something I'll state here is the normal detanking vent is not going, and that depress was not that long.
Yeah, it was more of a pressure maintenance kind of thing than a full depress, right?
So,
Yeah. I mean, there could be more.
Yeah.
There could be more.
The Pope vent is not yet not the Pope vent. The flare stack, former flare stack, now vent stack. Sorry, I'm confusing my vents. That could also still we have not seen yet. Well, so there's this thing called commentator jinx, where
Go on.
Right.
where you
There
say
it goes.
something, where you say something and the opposite happens. But hey,
so
there's the vent stacks.
There it goes. Yeah, so they're detanking. I'll say this too for if they did do one RVAC, the one RVAC that we saw that had looked like a new bell, which could mean it was a new RVAC. They would probably do the center engine along with it if it was just two, because they share a common LOX connection. So, they would probably just do both at the same time, because it's just simpler, and there's no hurt in doing it. So, yeah.
Yeah, makes sense.
So based on this current trend that is ongoing for the stream, I'm gonna say there's absolutely no chance they do a static fire in 5 seconds. Close his eyes. Okay, didn't work this time.
Siren goes off.
I tried.
Chris Craven is asking if the Pez hatch is operational on ship 28. I believe it is. It's not welded shut, right? Right, Ryan?
Correct. It is operational.
Doesn't mean it
Well-
will be actually dispensing anything on Flight 3, but they do have a desire to test the door on Flight 3, according to Elon, right?
Yeah, I think the plan is to at least test the door. They cannot test it right now, because they currently have the locks, the door locks, are still installed on it, like they removed before flight things. So they cannot actuate it at the moment. So don't expect that today. At least not right now.
So just to add to that, because I see some people why don't they test the door today? To my knowledge, the door has still several removed before flight tags that are locking it right now. So that would be kind of hard to test it.
Yeah.
In other news, New Glenn is going up again.
Oh, it is?
Yep.
Shout out to Space Coast Live, our 24/7 live stream of all things Cape Canaveral and Kennedy Space Center. I almost said Spenity K Center. What's wrong with my brain today?
It's a new name. New name just dropped.
New name.
I can't even. For those of you in chat who are asking for a timestamp of the spin prime, it was 11:57:28, I believe.
Yep, and we are working on replays, which we'll get soon, where we'll talk all about how many engine this was, and did this look good, and what we could see. The usual thing we do here.
Ray Sanchez in chat says, "This is Back Gyre reporting to you live from the Spenity Case Center."
In an alternate universe.
In an alternate universe. Oh man.
Like the everything is the same in the alternate universe except everyone wears cowboy hats.
It's
Yes,
just everything
everyone.
backwards.
Except cowboys. Cowboys don't wear cowboy hats.
Right,
Exactly.
right.
Yeah. I mean, you never know. It could be possible.
Are we off the rails?
A little bit. We're waiting
a
for
little
those
bit.
replays to come in so we can analyze what we saw just now, or about 10 minutes ago now.
Yeah, Tori Bruno doesn't wear a cowboy hat in the alternate universe.
But-
Yeah.
But Bori Truno does.
Yeah, Bori Truno very much
Very
does.
true.
This universe is wild. It's barely, it's basically the same besides the name switching and the cowboy hats.
Oh,
Chat
man.
loves Spenity Case Center.
Spenity case.
Let's
Not
see
Kennedy, Spenity. Yep.
here. JS Webb is asking, has the FAA said anything about Flight 3 lately? Adrian.
No, Besides the fact that, like the last update we got from the FAA was that not everything required for the launch license modification is still in. And once that is in, they will get to their work, and hopefully permit flight free. But we have not heard anything new from the FAA since then. And shoutouts to the FAA actually. Usually they are very much on track to update people like that have asked questions about this very quickly once there is an update. So they are actually very communicative on that front.
Mish Kurgan hates space shuttles.
Yeah, Chad is having fun with this flipping universe.
Now confined.
Oh man, what have we started? What did we start? Oh no.
Oh, we have replays ready. Let's take a look at some replays.
Woohoo!
All right, so we have the live view on the right, so we're not going to miss anything happening there. We have the replay on the left, and there you can see it. It was. All right. So that's what we saw live. Let's take a look at some alternate angles here.
Not much you can see here.
All right, this is from north.
Well, you can see how there's like a burst of gas from the ship.
Yeah.
All right,
Whoosh.
let's take a look at the next angle.
That might
Here
be a
we
good
go.
one.
They had like 2 or 3 bursts.
It looked like 3.
Yeah.
Can we frame? Is it possible to frame by frame this, or am I stretching the availability of what we can do here right now? Oh, there we go. I think we can.
Jay. Also, shout out to El Hudio Games in chat who says NASASpaceflight.
I think I see 3 bursts.
I think it's 3.
I also think it's 3.
So let's go here. Let's analyze this.
I would assume 2 centers and 1 RVAC would be my assumption if it's 3.
Yep, I kind of lean to that as well here, but I really want to see the burst at the beginning again, like a bit back. And now if we're a bit far of jump here, not sure if we can jump frame by frame here right now. There, 1, 2. I think I see 2 center and 1 airvac to the right. I think, right?
Yeah. That's what it looks like.
Yeah. Yeah, there's the.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I see 3. Okay, that's I think that's the tendency here.
Yeah, I would agree. Neat.
Nice.
And all of this makes perfect sense just because we saw those engine swaps or removals and then reinstallations, whatever it was. Hard to say given that Remedios is closed now. But there was some engine work on Ship 28, and this appears to be a test to validate that work.
Because the newer RVAC, the one when we saw them lift S-28, the one that had the basically new engine bell, it looked like, that is from this view, it is on the left, or closer to the crane is where that RVAC is.
I want to point out that chat is still having very much fun with switching letters of words.
Yeah, I'm enjoying it thoroughly.
The Bree Burner. R stays Texas. I guess it's still ongoing. Like we just talked about the spin prime, and chat is like, nope. We are still at switching letters here.
Chocobika.
The Mubby Sterling.
I think we broke chat, you guys.
Oh my man.
Larbital Aunch Mount.
It's just going.
Anyone that tunes into this stream right now is just like,
Badrian Eel.
Yeah, that's wild things going on here.
Okay, is it Halcon Fevi or Halcyon like Fevi? Like how would you?
Justin Wayne says, "Man, Scotley."
Like this trend, this alternate universe, I want to see it. It's like
Damn, Todd.
I'm so sorry.
Oh, this is great. I love it.
Okay,
You're having fun, Chad.
okay, focus.
Focus.
Ship 28 looked like it conducted a 3-engine spin prime test at, what was it, 11:57:25. And now we are seeing what appears to be detanking of the vehicle and waiting to see what happens next.
Yep, that's correct.
Car stopper?
Don't look at chat. Don't look at chat. Just look at the vehicle.
That's great. 57:25:11 for the
Okay.
Trapper,
so-
thank you for becoming a Capcom member. Pop into Discord and say hey.
What do you think, Jack? Will we see a static fire of this vehicle after this?
I don't know, we might see a Phatic Steyr.
Yeah, I saw that coming.
Man. Yeah, I saw that coming.
Alright, I've killed the joke. I'm sorry.
Slowly detanking this, it looks like.
Yeah, but to answer your question, Adrian, maybe we'll see a static fire in the coming days. Obviously, I don't think we'll see one today, given no overpressure notice. But maybe, I mean, there's 2 more closures this week, right? At least so far, until they schedule more, of course, like they love to do.
There's tomorrow and Wednesday are possible closures. They're not scheduled, they're possible. So, I mean, usually that doesn't really mean anything. They can always make it scheduled now, or they could revoke it in an hour or 2. We just don't really know with that. So it's gonna be wait and see what they do next with these Flight 3 vehicles. I hope B10 rolls out sooner rather than later, but we'll see.
I want to shout out some people here who are visibly angry at me because I said static fire instead of Phatic Steyr. Like, impressive. I heard we have some views from trailer apparently here that we can.
Oh yeah, let's take a look.
Actually, sure. There we go. So do you like cranes, everybody?
Dang
What a
crane.
great view.
Thanks, crane. There's the spin prime. The crane successfully spin primed.
Yeah,
Nice.
the crane spin prime.
Header Hank.
Oh.
Okay, we really need to stop this.
Header Hank. Man.
Papa Hawkeye 31 is asking, do they have to get permission to vent that much into the atmosphere from an agency like the EPA? Yeah, they're allowed to vent a certain amount of methane into the atmosphere per their environmental agreement.
Just to say, the big vent you see during a spin prime is not methane. It is
That's
LOX.
right. That is
So,
correct.
Just
We
to
haven't
say
really
that.
seen any methane venting today, but in the record they need to. That's a thing. And Alex in our back channel is saying, for the record, they did use the water on this test.
Thank you, Alex.
As always,
Once again
Alex.
being our fact check and our current knowledge in the back channel.
Mm-hmm.
Virgin Galactic.
That's what you went for to in breaking this silence?
Yeah, they fly out
behind
of
it.
they fly out of New Mexico.
Yeah, thank you. You can see now the God, I'm losing my ability to commentate here.
Mega May. All right, I'm
really
closing
trying
chat.
here.
I'm closing chat.
Man,
I literally
Jack.
just closed chat.
Jack, focus, Jack.
Yeah, but overall we are seeing here like what we would usually see during detank operation, which is trivial. Like we always say, oh, it's just detanking. Well, you're still moving a lot of propellant here from A to B. Like that's it's basically as complicated as fueling the vehicle, because you're still like moving that back to the tank farm, you're recondensing it, you're getting it into the right condition to load it back into the like your LOX and methane tank. Like that's still a complicated endeavor. It's just going out of the rocket instead of in the rocket.
Right.
There you go.
Piper Zoll is asking, will Rio West be public? First off, Ryan, what is Rio West? And then we'll go around the horn and discuss whether we think it'll be public or not.
Well, Rio West is the name for the development just off Highway 4. It's between Massey's and Sanchez and the production site. It's basically going to be like, I think it's a grocery store and retail area for that SpaceX is building for Starbase. I don't know if it'll be public. They haven't said if it will be or not. So it'll be interesting to see. It's supposed to be done by the end of this year. That is also along with 2 other projects SpaceX is doing, which is a parking garage and an office building. So the skyline of the Boca Chica area is going to change a decent amount here this year. And heck, maybe even a tower going up too. So I don't know if it'll be public or not, but it'll be cool to see once it's done.
Absolutely.
I hope it will be. It'll certainly be a useful resource for the community if it is. We'll have to wait and see.
Imagine public bathrooms in Boca.
Yeah, that would be really nice. Ryan in our back channel says, why is everyone spelling things wrong? Just tuned in.
Well, long story short, Jack kind of said something wrong, and, well...
And then we went down the rail of it's an alternate universe, and then chat took it from there.
I love how none of this is a lie. I love how everything about this is correct.
Right?
Public bathrooms in Starbase. Tien is asking, when do we think Booster 10 will roll out to the launch pad?
Mid to end next week is my guess.
Yeah, I think that's the optimistic way to look at it. I'm hoping by end of next week. Optimism, always nice to have. When the next stack will be, optimistically, 2 weeks to 3 weeks. Give or take.
Watch them completely clown us both, Ryan, and like the booster rolls out this second, and we are like, well.
It wouldn't be the first time.
Yeah, Adrian. Never say never. It is.
It wouldn't be the first time we got clowned. I mean, remember the time where there was no road closure posted or anything, and all of a sudden B10 rolled all the way to the OLM to do its static fire testing in December, and here we are on the Raptor side, and it's like 4 or 5 in the morning. Remember that?
If I had a nickel for every time they rolled out of the vehicle without giving us notice in any shape or form, well, I had a lot of nickels.
Yeah.
When do we think Tooster Ben is going to roll out?
Why? Jack, you need to stop. This is an intervention.
Yeah, this is an intervention. Stop, Jack. Focus, Jack. Come back to the light.
People are starting super chats with this way of talking.
Starship Hooper Sevi, says Peter C.
You're turning to the dark side, Jack. Don't do it.
I have unlimited power. So yeah, we saw the 3-engine spin prime with 28. We're waiting to see what happens next. Vehicles being detanked. Could be more testing today. Could be no more testing today. Hard to say, but we're waiting, hanging out, and we're waiting to see what happens next.
Yep. They just... Sorry, I just looked at the super chat.
Is it just me, or is this like a really slow detank?
Yeah, the melting is going... Like, you can see some melting at the top of the LOX ring, but it's melting very slowly.
That They have a long time. They have until 8 p.m., so it can take a while to detank if they want to.
Yep.
Justin Wayne says, "Bore making, bore metter."
I have to think about a few of these for a few seconds.
That's the best part.
Take the rails, Jack, and we'll bring him back here to the interaction. So when do we did we already say when we said when we expect launch?
Well, we
I'm
can
not
go
bringing-
over it again.
I think 26th of March. There you go.
And what needs to happen before, like, what pieces are not in place? We don't have, like, marine hazard notices. We don't have any NOTAMs. We don't have license from the FAA. Like, the license modification isn't complete. I don't even think we know that the mishap investigation is complete, right?
It kind of nothing is in place.
No, yeah.
It's like it's kind of regulatory side not in place. Like anything closure not in place. Wet rest rehearsal not performed. Booster not on OLM. Ship currently on suborbital stand B. Yeah, it's kind of like the answer kind of is everything needs to happen.
Suborbital stand. I don't know.
No.
No, don't, Jack.
Lost in Space, thank you for the $10 super chat. They're asking us to alternate universe the intro. Moldy Space, thank you for the support. We love you, Moldy, even though I'm still mad at you. Backgyre fan club is what they say.
Of course.
Martin Laufer, thank you for becoming a Padrat member. And Alfredo, thank you for the super chat. They say, how do I become a Ted Ream member? What is going on? I don't think chat has ever latched onto anything as hard as this before.
Yeah, like they're stuck.
I'm not mad about it. OLM's kicking back up again.
Yeah, I mean, for all we know, this test could go on for, like, hours. Like, we don't know how long they will test the OLM. That could go on for way past what they are doing with Ship 28 here. So that's certainly the situation.
I'm looking for more questions, but our question queue is like just all mixed up words. So
yeah, it's like you need like a special kind of reading right now to understand anything that is going on.
If anybody has question, like an actual question, at NASASpaceflight and throw it in chat.
Yeah, please don't turn like letters for them.
Yeah,
please.
Or do you could? I mean, you can. I'm not gonna be mad about it.
So there's like always this problem with like if there's a mutiny on the commentary team also about this, like then you kind of lose the fight.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm sorry. I enjoy being a heel way too much.
Oh god, there's a lot of... Why is somebody again asking about your favorite breakfast item? Jeez.
Oh man, my favorite breakfast... I mean, if I could have like any breakfast whatsoever, I'd probably do steak and eggs with a side of bacon. But
Sausage.
Sausage is also delicious. Any kind of breakfast meats, like, can't go wrong.
And beans. I love beans.
I do not like beans. I mean, I'm weird. I admit it. I'm not saying I'm correct in not liking beans. I just don't care for beans.
Beans and toast is actually a very delicious combination.
I'll take your word for it.
We can now confirm, by the way, that the changing letters thing has spread to other 24/7 streams of ours.
Don't say it out loud. If you want it to not spread, then don't say that out loud.
At this point, I'm just covering the news. I'm just tracking what is infected with this funny at this point.
So it's leaking to Space Coast Live. Has it hit McGregor Live yet?
Are we tracking that now?
I mean, I feel like I need to go look, but also I'm going to look for questions here. Gina is asking if I've ever had a full English breakfast. Yes, and they are amazing.
I think that's like the English, the English in general, the British cuisine gets a lot of like flag, but honestly, breakfast they're kind of doing well.
Yeah, 100% agree. Like, you say what you want about British cuisine in general, and its overall blandness. English breakfast cannot go wrong. Also, best bacon, in my opinion, is short back bacon. British bacon is the best bacon.
There you go. And we are not being paid by Chris Bergen to say this, by the way, just for the record.
James Sargent is asking... No, wait. Where did it go? Where did it go? Cloudstorm is asking, why is the frost line weird? Well, first off, we don't frost line shame here. But second off, I think it's just a matter of the wind and the sun angle. Like, that side of the tank is hotter.
It's the wind and sun angle hitting the stainless steel, keeping it warm enough so that frost doesn't form on that side of the vehicle. It's basically what it is. Yeah.
Yep. It's basically it tends to happen. There's also air times and humidities where we get more venting, more condensation. That's the fun thing with Starbase. Like, conditions can change based on weather and everything.
Steve Z is asking, best breakfast accompanied beverage, please. It depends on what kind of day you're planning on having. I mean, can't go wrong with a nice mimosa. But if you're trying to be productive, probably not the best idea. Good coffee, some tea. I will say, some milky tea, you know, put a little sugar in, put a little milk in, some black tea. Delicious.
I tend to start my day with tea and then start the coffee load once I'm really like out of the breakfast zone. If that makes sense.
The breakfast zone.
My plan, I think tonight my plan is like to make carbonara. That's probably
nice.
Oh, good one.
Yeah.
I'm only talking about food because I know. Well, I always talk about food, but also I know Adrian's hungry. So
yes, I think right now about getting carbonara today. Thank you.
There you go. Good. Carbonara is amazing. I love it.
It in fact is, yes.
Wilbo Tiberius Baggins, thank you for the support. They say, can't stop laughing, top work. IFT3 date. Well, Adrian thinks March 26th. Right, Adrian?
Yes. That's my prediction.
Ryan?
Man. I don't know.
While you're thinking, HJB8376 in chat says, Cascadi Sparbonara. Just crickets.
That's a good one. That's
Just
a good
crickets from both of you. All right, moving on.
Okay. Maybe March 26th. Maybe maybe April 4th. Maybe. I mean, I really don't know. SpaceX had a thing going with their first two launches. Like, the first one was April 20th, and the second one was November 18th. So for a while there, I was like February 16th. I hope it's not April 16th. I hope not. I hope it's before that, but, you know.
Yeah, fingers crossed. We'll see. We'll have to wait and see. I'd rather be flying an X-Wing. Thank you for the support. They say, Jack running with a random comment and starting a mutiny? Gasp! Fetch me my clasping pearls and fainting couch. I feel both attacked and seen right now.
Everything about this is correct.
Yeah.
I don't know how to feel. Bullet hole shooter, thank you for the support again. They say pineapple on pizza. It's acceptable. I'm not one of those people that refuses.
You know, like I'm a sucker. I'm a sucker for just a cheese pizza. Is that wrong? Like I just love a good cheese pizza.
In this case, I will not do a mini. No, we're not talking about the vent. We're talking about No, let's talk about the vent.
I think it's the methane side.
Oh, of the orbital tank farm?
Yeah,
wow.
There's the
tank farm.
Vent, and I think that's the methane. It might be one of the methane subcooler vents going. Yeah.
Yeah.
Won't stop surprising.
Going crazy.
Lost in Space, thank you for the super chat. They say, Axel and Rosie, where are you guys? I don't get the reference. But thank you for the support, and thank you to everybody for the super chats and the memberships and everything on the stream. Once again, it's absolutely critical to supporting what we do. We're completely viewer supported, and if you can't support us monetarily, that's totally fine. We appreciate you just watching the stream and hanging out with us as we make up horrible words. For real though, like, even just hitting the like button or telling your friends about us is a huge help. Every little bit helps. We appreciate y'all guys so much. Especially as we ramp up our own coverage ahead of Flight 3. It enables us to do cool things. And you want to see cool things, do you not? So thanks for the support.
Yes.
Let's see. I'm looking for questions, and it's all just like Binglish Ekfrist. Like there's chat at NASASpaceflight with actual questions with correctly spelled words. I'm begging you.
Oh man. The methane subcooler it's going looks to be the ship one. So I guess we're loading the invisible ship. So
nice.
Yep.
Is the invisible ship stacked on an invisible booster and will do the invisible flight test?
Exactly. It's cloaked. See? Yeah. It's got a cloaking device.
I thought this. It kind of underlines the importance of stage 0 because while you can launch with an invisible ship and booster, it still has the normal stage 0.
Uh-huh.
That's where we are here, I think.
That's where we're at. Yep.
So I'm already looking forward to Jack reading out the super chat right now because the name is fantastic. So we'll see. Let's see if we can. There's more questions here with changed up letters. Okay, let's tackle this one, I guess. Ryan, when is Starship gonna land on Mars?
Man, they have a long way to go, but whoops, they have a long way to go. Try to think here. I mean, I assume like mid. Okay, I guess the question to that is: are we talking with people, or are we talking just one ship to test it out, or are we talking cargo? What are we talking? Because if we're talking like people, I would assume like mid to late 2030s at this rate. If we're talking cargo, I could see a cargo starship by the end of the decade, maybe, possibly 6 years from now. Man, it is only 6 years to the end of the decade. That's maybe. First ship that they just yeet at Mars, just for testing. I mean, they could do it in a couple of years. I wouldn't put it past them once they have refueling capabilities ready to go in orbit. I wouldn't put it past SpaceX to load stuff up onto a Starship and just throw it at Mars, see what it is. So, yeah.
Here we go. I'm not sure if Jack knows that he's muted, though.
I was totally talking to nobody because I was muted.
Got it. I thought so.
Thanks for that.
No problem.
So yeah, we had a 3-engine spin prime, or what looked like one anyways, on Ship 28. We've had some testing of the ground systems at the orbital pad. So, a good step towards Flight 3 under our belts. Hopefully we see Booster 10 roll back to the launch pad soon here. Unclear if there'll be more testing standalone with Ship 28, but we'll keep our eyes open for overpressure notices, for additional road crews getting moved from potential to schedule, all the good stuff. And stay tuned here. Subscribe if you haven't already. Follow NASASpaceflight on all the socials. Facebook or Twitter.
And I think
Robot.
with Jack going
Heck, I think we have a
robot here
TikTok
again.
now, so, and as we learn anything,
Robo-buyer.
we'll be sharing it with y'all.
Yeah, we had a robo buyer there for a little bit. But yeah.
I will take over. I will take over here. No problem. And with that, let's see. Of course, I first want to thank you, Ryan, for being with us here today.
Well, thanks, Adrian. It's always fun. Sometimes it goes off the rails, but we're here to have fun and here to hang out with people. So hopefully we see more action with Flight 3 soon.
Absolutely. I mean, if we don't have fun, then why are we doing this?
Yeah.
I also want to thank If That Was Methane with a $9.99 super chat here saying April 8th launch. Not that unlikely, I would say. So it's certainly in the window. Then I want to thank Jack Bayer, who just lost his ability to talk here. Thanks for hosting all stream, Jack.
Thanks, Badrian.
And also for bringing chaos to the chat and the stream. I want to thank Jay for being with us here all stream and producing this. And I was Adrian Bile, and I was also a commentator for today's stream. And with that, we are done for today, and we are throwing you all to Starbase Live for the rest of this road closure window until they open the road.
And here we go. We have liftoff.
Propulsion continues to be normal.
RCPA chamber pressure looks good.
Doubling up. Roger, with planet.
Water towers, fly! Yes! Echo down to nominal.
Flighting downside FD off. Bring in FD off. Off. It's orange!
45! Oh my god! Oh my god!
Decolage.
What do you think?
Put that in the big bag,
343 unfolds to go. Indeed.
We rise together back to the moon and beyond.
This methane will be igniting in the flare, correct?
Yikes. You bet. We don't need any more of these.